All right, what's good, YouTube? So today I'm going a little bit deeper in depth on how to mix a beat out of a Patreon supporter and a couple of Instagram followers to actually ask me to do a more in-depth explanation on how I mix beats a little bit. So I'm just going to go a little bit further in depth. I've done this before, but I didn't really go through each instrument and explain how or why I do what I do. So I'm actually going to go through this beat here, and I'll use this beat next week actually for a different type of tutorial. So let's get started. So first off, you got your melodies. I got my main melodies all connected to the channel rack one. So all four of my melodies that I've got over here, all of these are all connected to just this one. You don't have to do it this way at all by any means. It's probably actually a little bit of a lazier way to mix and master or to mix beats. I do it like this just because I like to have all my sounds sound pretty cohesive, and then plus I don't have to mix each individual's melody, once, and end up mixing the same thing four different times, and all the mixes are going to be pretty similar, unless you have like one oddball sound that's just like way out there in the spectrum. You can get away with mixing them all on one channel rack. um, but for the most part, what you want to do is if you do split them up, then you just do a parametric EQ2 on everything, on whichever EQ you use, and then if you don't mix them up, then obviously you just throw them all on one, and then, or not mix them up, if you split them up, and then throw them all on one and go ahead and mix it. So these are all my melodies playing all at one time that I'm getting ready to show you, and then I'll show you how I mixed it and explain. So if you listen to it, you can see that all the melodies play within this range right here, right? I don't have as much range here, but I have most of it right here, right? So since I have most of the sound here, this is the sound that I really want to grab. And grab right here, and then this sound, the areas of sound that are highlighted over here in pink, I want some of that, because if I cut that out completely, you'll hear the difference. And that's not a bad sound, but if you notice, it has less of that etheric type of floating sound. That's more of a high frequency sound. See, listen. You hear more of the sparkling sounds and different type of other sounds right here. So that's why I left that in there. Now, however, you definitely want to cut out all your subs, though. You want to cut out all the bass. You don't need any of this. So, like, the bass is good because it makes you feel and kind of feel the sound a little bit. The only reason I say cut that bass out is simply because you don't want it to interfere with your 808. Because if you have the bass going and your 808 at the same time and they're going together, they're going to collide. So let's see what it sounds like now, because I kind of changed this a little bit so you can hear the bass a little bit, so you can actually feel the melodies. So you can hear the difference. And if you notice, when I pulled it out like that, you could actually feel it in the headphones. That's because there's too much vibration, too much bass going on. You don't want all of that. That's going to mud up your 808s. This will make it sound clean and crisp and clear. And so once you've got it mixed, like how I've got it mixed, I just kind of play with these. I have more of my sound here, so I pinched it, and they kind of pulled it up so I can grab that sound a little bit more. I use this and kind of boosted this a little bit, and I kind of lowered this area a little bit so I don't catch a lot of that bass that's up top right here. Now, if I had another little pinch point, I could add a little one here and kind of bring that down so that I don't have this high mid section right there. I don't necessarily need all of that. But you just pretty much want to capture where most of the pink is. Like, you want to stay within this range, and then you don't want to go too far above whatever this threshold is of 0 decibels. You don't want to go too much further past that. You just want to boost it a little bit, lower it a little bit, and not distort the sound or alter it too much, unless that is your intent. So that's how I attack the melodies. Next one would be the snares. So I'm pretty sure that's a snare, either a clap. Let's see. Yeah, start right here. So it's a hi-hat. So with the hi-hats, you want to, like I say, you want to separate everything. You want to have mainly your melodies all within this area, right? Right here between the low mids to the high mids and whatever this PRS stands for. I don't quite remember. And then your instruments, like your claps, your hi-hats, snares, and things of that nature, are typically higher frequency sounds, so they're going to be more within this range, within the treble range. So all I did was just literally just throw this on there as it comes, and then just cut the excess out that I don't need. And if you notice, it just takes away the negative sounds that I don't need, the too harsh high up high frequency sounds, and then the low frequency sounds as well. And that's it. That's literally it. That's all I do in the hi-hats. Claps are very similar. And also too, on my claps and hi-hats, or my claps and snares, usually I will put those in the same channel mixer rack, and then I'll mess with the volumes on the actual I forget what this is called, the channel rack actually. Yeah, I'll mess with the volumes on the channel rack, but then I'll put them all in the same thing here. I forget what this thing is actually called. What is this one called? Nice piano. What is this thing called? The mixer. Yeah, that's right. So I'll connect them all to one mixer, but I'll mess with the volumes individually on the channel rack so that I can get my volumes right. And then I just add an EQ because they're going to be within the same range. You see how you notice all this is like the most pink area. I got a little bit of high pitched noises here from one snare, and then but mainly all my snares are hitting right here in the mids. So that's why I boosted the mid a little bit and just kept everything here the same. Cut out my bass and everything, my low end, because I don't need all that extra. All right. So that's literally all I did for the snares. I believe this might be the clap. Oh, it's not. Yeah, that's right, because I put everything on the same thing. And then you've got, this is that little breath noise that I always use. If you notice, it kind of travels across the spectrum. See, watch. I'm guessing because it's in the actual sound, like somebody's voice and vocals. So I just kind of boosted it on the low end, or on the lower end of the spectrum, which would put it in the mids. Because it kind of more so starts right here in the high mids and then kind of just goes across and ends in the mid. So I just kind of boosted that a little bit, cut some of the harsh front end out. See, you can notice a little bit. And then if I go like this, you'll hear it. You hear a little bit more of the bass that you don't need. And then we move from there to just this 808s. The 808s are simple. 808s work the exact opposite of all your other sounds. You want to cut out all this stuff because it's all unnecessary. So if I have this all left in here, this is what it would sound like. It has more of a fuzz or a muddy sound to it, whereas this sounds more crisp and sharp. And then I boost in the thicker pink parts of the 808. And if I want to boost the subs a little bit to get a little bit more bass in there, I might boost this rear end of the subs. So this would be your sub that kind of gives it like a hum, more of like a bass. And then this bass area right here is where it kind of hits and gives it a punch. And so I usually will pinch that area a little bit smaller and grab that and then boost some of the subs on the other end. And then I add my other stuff in there that I need. And then I've got like a like a little, instead of a crash, just like a knock sound. See, I just add like, you know, simple. Still just grabbing the frequencies that it falls within. And that's really about it. So that's pretty much a basic, simple way of how to mix. Like if you can mix all your beats like that and touch up everything exactly the way that I just explained it to you, and just mess with the volumes, you're gonna mix a beat just fine. A lot of people put too much effort and time into mixing the beat, thinking that's just gonna make or break the beat. As long as everything sounds clean, crisp, and sharp, and you can hear each individual sound well, that's all that's going to matter. So don't, you know, bust your brain trying to figure out, oh, I gotta get the perfect mix, I gotta do this. And I'm not even technical with my mixes. Like some people sit there and be like, oh, you only raise this certain amount of decibels, you move this down that. I don't do that. I literally do everything when it comes to beat by ear. As far as like making the beats, the melodies, tune, everything, it is all done by ear for me. I really need to take the time, I've been saying it, to learn a lot more in music theory so I can teach you guys a whole lot more. But I mean, this has been fine for me, and this is how I've been getting it done. So everything is done by ear for me. But that's pretty much it. You got your melodies, you got your hi-hats, claps and snares, and you've got your 808s and then your crashes and things of that nature. And you just use the frequencies and the spectrums that you need. So if all the melodies are, if all the sound is playing here, you isolate it here. If it's all playing here, you isolate it here. If it's all playing here, you isolate it here. Because if you notice, it's broken up into three parts. You got your your mid-range stuff where all your melodies and your sounds are pretty much for the most part is going to be. And you got the low end as far as your 808s and basses, and you got your high ends for your hi-hat, snares, and high-pitched type of sounds, right? And so that's pretty much it. You just want to make sure you cut out what you don't need and boost the things you do need, and that's literally basically it. Make sure you got good quality sounds, and then make sure your volume levels are good. And then after that, man, that like leave the rest to the engineer for him to kind of tweak it once the song is made and the artist hops on it and whatnot. Then they can really go in and dive in and really tweak some stuff. But just keep it simple from the beginning. But that's a basic concept of how to mix a beat a little bit more in depth. Hopefully that helps you guys out. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Follow me on all my social media. Milan Makes Beats. If I got it, you'll find me. If I don't, you won't. And that's really all I got, man. Leave a like in the comments. Drop a comment in the comments section. If you hate this video, dislike it. But either which way, just interact with the video so the algorithm begins to work in my favor. I appreciate all the love and support that you guys been showing me over the last. It's been almost 2 years now. I've been making beats online for you guys for tutorial purposes. So I really appreciate all of the love and support. And again, just interact with my algorithm with everything, so the algorithm works for me. And Milan Makes Beats on everything. That's all I got for you guys today. So y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace.